welcome to the micro shop. I'm just going to do a short video. I'll just try to make it as short as possible, but a video about putting bolsters on a knife. Okay, so here's a knife. I did not make this blade. It's a really nice looking blade, number 32, made by Jantz in Oklahoma, down in the USA. And so I've got some. I'm going to cheat a little bit here. Okay, I've got some pre-made bolsters. Okay, I mean they're cut or stamped, however they produce them, but they're definitely not exactly fitted to the knife yet. As you can see here, they're very rough. And so what I've already done off camera is I have taken, let me see here, let me just get to my, just get a demonstration here. I've taken a piece of sandpaper and I have sanded carefully all these edges. I started with 150 grit and I sanded pretty much all, not all the edges, but I spent lots of time on the front of the bolster, as you can see right there, and as well as this one right here. I've got these to 800 grit. I think I'm just going to leave them there. I'm not a big fan of mirror polish, and so I'm just going to leave them there at 800 grit. Anyway, so basically what I've done is I've sanded all these areas like this. I've taken it like this, sanded it very carefully with starting at 150 grit, and on these edges right here I just went to 400 grit. But taking my time, trying to get the nicest finish, so when it is mated with the knife, it will work well and just to fit in well. So, like I said, I'm cheating a bit. These are pre-made bolsters. I'm not a pro at this. This is not a tutorial. This is a demonstration, and I'm just going to show you how I do this. And if you're seeing this video on YouTube, it means it worked out. And if you're not, well, you won't know if you're not seeing the video, because I won't put it up if if it's a fail. But anyway, so here I'm just going to just demonstrate how I put bolsters on. Not an expert at this, but this is maybe a technique that someone can use, and all in all, it will work out pretty well, hopefully. I've got some stainless pins here, and these are 1/8 inch pins. And so, alright, let's get started on the next step. Well, the next step that we're going to do here in order to begin to install this bolster is we're going to countersink these holes just a bit here on the outside of the bolsters. So these two here, countersink that one. I already slightly countersink that one a little bit. The reason we're going to do that is because when these pins go in there, the way that the mechanism works is the tops of the pins, outside of the pins, will be peened. I'll get my ball peen hammer and peen that, and then that will just pull these bolsters in nice and tight. And so in order to accommodate the spreading of the pin, the mushrooming of the pin, we need to accommodate that by countersinking that just a little bit, so then that will hopefully sit right in there just nice, and then when we grind it off on the belt grinder, it will fit. It will fit, looking really good. So, all right. So I'm just gonna keep on working on this here. Just countersinking this with just a little bit a wider bit. I believe this one is 5/32. I think that's enough. We'll see. But I'm just gonna countersink this just a little bit more. Okay. Go to the other one. Obviously I don't want to go down too far, but just enough to accommodate the spreading and the mushrooming of the pin when I pound it. Well, here's the bolsters with a test fit there, and looking pretty good there. I really like the front. I think the front looks pretty good, the front of those bolsters. I'm just going to leave those flat there. And of course it will be when the scales go on. I've got some really awesome ironwood scales here. When those are butted up against there like that, and they'll all be smoothed down together. But the next step that I'm going to do now is I'm going to take out these pins, put them in my vise, and just peen one side here. Peen it down just to keep it so the pins won't slide out. Then I'm going to take it out to the grinder and then grind off the rest of these pins, just leaving just a small section left there in order to peen that side down. So I'm just going to take these out and put it in the vise, start mushrooming the end there. Okay, so there's our pin all set in the vise there, and get our ball peen hammer here and just mushroom down these edges a bit. I will finish when it's put into the knife and the bolsters applied. I will definitely do more peening, but this right now is just to keep the pin from sliding out, get it set initially. Alright, well there we have just the initial peening in there. The pins are locked in, and just going to slide this other side on. Now I'm going to be making sure to leave enough space because I didn't peen it enough to lock it and mushroom it enough. So I need to leave just a bit of space there in order to have more pin to mushroom out there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to give this a little more thought and make sure I'm doing what I want to do, and then I'm going to go out to the grinder and grind these off. It's hard to know exactly, hard to say exact depth. I'll know after I grind it approximately how much I want to leave out. That will leave me enough to peen down and mushroom to lock that bolster in place when I come back and use it on my little anvil here. Okay, well here we go. Got the pins all just to the basic thickness or basic length that I want them before I go and continue peening. What I ended up doing is actually, since these are stainless pins, the grinder was taking way too long, heating them up quite a bit, and so I just came in and used a hacksaw and just hack them off to the right depth there. And now just going to do a teeny bit of filing on here just to kind of get these a little bit shorter, and then I will begin peening the bolsters onto the knife. So coming right along. Well, I've got the filing basically done. Now I'm just using some acetone to clean up the bolster here, just so we can get the best, smoothest fit onto the tang there. So I'm just going to clean up all these edges here, even on the knife. Look magnetized a bit. Alright. Okay, well, let's work on our peening here now. Go back and forth, flip it over. Well, I still have a bit of peening to do, but you can see they're getting pretty tight. Getting pretty tight on the blade here, on the tang of the blades, so pretty happy with that. Gonna go back to do a little bit more peening here. I think they're locked in pretty good now. No movement whatsoever. Alright, so the peening is pretty much done, and I may just give it just a few more taps on some of the edges there a little bit. But the next step that I'm going to do then is just take it to the grinder, and I use a bit of a rougher grit, maybe like 100 grit or so, and just grind off that, grind off the excess of the pin there, and it should just start to blend right in with the rest of the stainless steel bolster there, and then I won't completely finish the bolster yet, but I'll then put my handle scales on, and that is how I finish a bolster. So anyway, get this on the grinder and see how well we actually did. Alrighty, well, there we have it. Took it out to the grinder and ground down the mushroomed part of those pins, and turned out pretty good. Really happy with it. Really happy with it. So anyway, thanks for clicking on the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and just a little demonstration on how to put bolsters on. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time here on NuManXplore.